Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to make this little tag. We've used all sorts of mixed media goodies in there and yeah, so I'll do a little process video of this and we'll see how we get on. So first of all, what I did was I ran a piece of craft card through an embossing folder. This was the one here. It's one of Leonie Pujol's embossing folders. I've actually used quite a few of her products today in this demonstration, and that is what I am going to do now. Right, I've just realised, I thought I was all organised, but I've just realised that I put my gelatos away in a drawer, so I'll get those. So the way I have colour tinted this in is I have used gelatos and also a little bit of gesso. Sorry, I thought I was organised, but it's just beside me. Thankfully, it's one of these things that I use all the time, so it's in reaching distance. Okay, it's because I've gone straight from recording one video to another and I thought I had moved everything across properly, but you know, I've not. But I will learn. I keep saying that in every video. One day I'll not say that. Okay, so I'm just taking a little bit of gesso just to kind of highlight the pattern that was created on that. Now I've not actually done a video of running the embossing folder through. A lot of crafters will kind of know what it's like, how to do that. I realise that not everybody is and some people are starting off. So my plan, once I've got a few videos established, is to just start doing very small technique videos, so that if you hadn't had any experience using a die cutting machine or an embossing folder, then you could check that out. Sorry, my desk is getting quite full. So I am just going to put a bit of gesso over. So there's two reasons. Firstly, it emphasises the pattern, and also because I'm going to be trying to colour this with gelatos, the colour kind of sinks into the craft a little bit, which I like, but I also want to be able to see the colour. So the fact that I've just kind of loosely put that on means the gelatos will react differently to the different surfaces that they're on. This gesso is the indigo blue one, Gesso Good. It's quite good. I like their black one, but that's the gesso that I've used. Okay, and I'm going to use my gelatos. I've not used these nearly enough. A friend of mine bought me these. Sorry, that's a big clunk clunk noise. Okay, so I've got my gelatos there. Now, gelatos are water reactive. So you will be able to kind of get the colour to move a little bit. I'm not going to do all of these circles. So if you can see there, I can move it a little bit, but if I'm struggling, all you need to do is just dampen your finger a little bit and you'll find that you will get much more movement. Now, it takes a little bit of time to build up the pattern, so I'm not going to show you all of it, because once I've done one circle, quite frankly, you'll have seen how to do it and know what you're doing. So I'm going to just build up the colour. Sorry, I'm holding the gelato right. Okay, sorry. I need to breathe and get my head in gear so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. So I've done that. Okay, now to give circles a bit more dimension and realism, we just need to add a little bit of kind of shading to that. So what I will do is I'll pick up a bit of gesso and just paint a highlight on like that, and then kind of smooth that in, so we create kind of a lighter part of almost like a bubble. This is one of these techniques that you'll be looking in the eye and thinking, what on earth, Julia, because it looks it looks awful to start off with. But be patient with yourself, because it does all come together. Just need to be patient and give it a bit of bit of time. Okay, so I've put that white on there, and then to highlight that white I am going to put some more of the gelato on like that and just blend that in so that you've got the white highlight and then the dark, and then at the other side of it I just put a bit more there, and then we gradually add a bit of depth to that bubble. So that's how I've done that, and as I said, because you don't need to see me do every single one because that'll take forever, I've done that. So the two colours I used were Bubblegum and Margarita Mix. So those were the two colours that I used, and then you end up with something like that. So as you can see, I've got these little highlights and things going on. It still doesn't look like the like the background one. It looks very different, but we're about to sort that now. So this is Pebeo gilding wax, and I have the Empire Gold here. So all I'm going to do is just tap a bit on my block, and then lightly I'm just going to rub that over the card. Now I'm trying to pick up the bits that are embossed, so I'm going over the embossing. Stuff will go on the other, but I'm just going over that, and that's going to give the whole thing a bit of a sheen, and really that embossing will really stand out. And as you can see, it's knocking those colours back, so they're looking a bit more subdued, but it's still all those things, the fact that we put the gesso on, the fact that we then added the gelatos and a bit heavy-handed there, but it's alright. It'll all add to the look. We get those layers of interest that we spoke about before. It is all there. It might not be obvious as you first look at it, but it just gives that depth, the various textures, so there's always something to look at. So just done that and added a little bit of gilding wax. Now this is actually proper. It's not been developed for crafters. I'm not saying that the stuff for crafters isn't proper. It is, but this is actually, it's stuff that people use when they are, you know, gilding mirrors or adding gold features to their furniture or whatever. And so you get a great big tub of it. I've had this forever. I use it a lot, and as you can see, it looks like I've not even opened it. So it does go a long way. So I would recommend that. Now, that's only part of the story. Once we've done that, you leave it a little minute, and then we just want to buff it. And what that does is it really brings out the sheen and the shine, and makes that look a lot more realistic. And you can see why it's kind of used on furniture. So that's it. If I can I tilt that here so you can see the gold. Okay, so I'm just going to mount that onto my little tag. So that's step one. Hopefully my glue will work. Nope. Okay, we will use this one. I'm going to have to use my fingers because I'm not as organised as I thought, and I can't see the things right in front of me. Sorry, I'm speaking too quiet. One thing I did notice was that I was watching the videos back, that once I get engrossed in crafting or thought, my voice dips down a little bit, which is not so good. Right, found my pens. I've just got a gold pen, and I'm going to put that around the edge of my card. Honestly, I did have it in front of me. I'm used to working in complete and utter disorder. It's almost like organisation. My brain can't cope. Don't tell our Jan. Our Jan on the Polka Doodles team, she's a nice tidy crafter. We often get told to clean our craft spaces. Yep. So I am going to pop that down like that. Stick that down. Okay. Now, I decided, nice and even, to use up one of these little envelopes. Now, I bought these, I think I bought them from the range in the UK. They are, but I'm going to take the string off because actually I'm going to change it for ribbon. And I was really disappointed with them, in all honesty, because they have this little eyelet here. You can't see it so much on the brown ones or even in this light, but there's a kind of a dimple there, and that sort of thing really annoys me. So I wasn't thrilled with them, but wanted to try and use them and make the most of them. And so that's where this idea of an envelope and a tag kind of came about. So that's where this idea kind of came from. So what I've done, using some of the Leonie Pujol mixed media collection dies, I've cut out these little circles, which I'm just going to edge for just now. Sorry, I've gone quiet. Can't craft and talk. I watch crafting telly quite a lot, as you might have noticed, and you see ones that are amazing at presenting, and then they're given something to do by the crafter, by the expert that's on, and all of a sudden they go quiet. Kind of understand what they what they mean. It's definitely a skill, not one I've clearly acquired. Right, so I'm going to actually fill this up with glue and put lots of glue on there, and just pop my little circle on, and already that kind of neatens it off quite a bit. Okay. Right. So I'll do that and I'll let that dry, ready for the next bit. And then now I'm going to do some stamping. So I've got craft card to match, and this time I have taken, again using the Leonie Pujol stamp set, and this one is Bohemian Doodles. Okay, I'm just going to grab an acrylic block because very cleverly I have used the one that I had out and ready as a palette. So I'll just grab, like, that's what my acrylic blocks normally look like that. It's absolutely filthy. And that's why, because I do things like that to it. But I cleaned that one especially, got the acetone out and everything, so that it all looked quite pretty and professional on my videos. But you know, you'll get to know the real me and know that that's not the real me. Right, I'll have to clean it again, won't I? So I am stamping this using Versamark because I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing again. And I'm just going to stamp that, and I'm going to, I'll just use this because I can't see my drop sheet. Now this was what I was supposed to put my gesso and gilding wax on, but, you know, forgot about it as soon as I started crafting. Old habits and all. Okay, so just going to sprinkle that on. And this is my Wow embossing powder. I think the last video that I did, if you want to have a little look at it, it's a Polka Doodles kind of basic card making video for beginners, just a bit of a watercolour technique, so please do feel free to check that out. I used some embossing powder on that one and mentioned that it was one that I had as I started crafting, but now I like my Wow embossing powders. This one is a Wow embossing powder. Now hopefully this one might be, I'll just move my hand so I don't burn it. This one might be a bit more successful to show on camera. Let's see how we go. So I'm just keeping my heat tool still. I should probably raise my voice so you can hear it. Don't waft it about like a hairdryer. Just keep it still, and gradually you will melt that powder, so you can see it on this a bit better than we did on the last video, and you can just gradually see that change. Isn't that magic? I don't know, I never get tired of that. It's awesome. Okay, and now we have it embossed. Now, oh, I should just give that a little second to dry. I've just stuck my finger in it, but hey ho, added texture. Mixed media, added texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit more detail. And I've got some paint over pens by Jane Davenport. We've got Starfish and Unicorn, and I have got my gold Posca pen. So I'm just going to colour this in a little bit. Now, because this is paint in a pen, just noticing my hair in shot again. Because this is paint in a pen, it does kind of go over the embossing a little bit, and you do lose it just ever so slightly. But I'm going to bring that detail back when I go in with my gold pen, so I'm not too worried about it. And then with the white, it's funny, the very first time I did embossing, it was actually for wedding invitations, for our own wedding invitations. That's probably 19 years ago now. Oh, that we were making the invites, and it was before I got into crafting. So we'd gone in and we'd bought a little stamp that we liked, and I bought some gold embossing powder. Didn't have a heat tool, but my in-laws to be at the time, they had a coal fire, an open fire, and we were literally sitting there with tongs from the kitchen holding these bits of cards into open flame to try and get them to emboss. I wouldn't recommend that as a technique. We did manage to do all our invitations that way, which was really quite impressive. But yeah, a heat gun's much easier, so go with that. Okay, so I'm just getting my gold going with my Posca pen. It's a little bit watery, and I'm going to colour in that middle bit. Now, I said that I was going to add the detail because this is a Bohemian style stamp, so there's lots of kind of little dots and things, so I'm just drawing in the lines back in and adding a few extra dots of my own, and it's in keeping with the stamp, so it just looks part of it. And so the fact that you've maybe gone over some of the details with those paint pens, you don't even notice by the time the extra details are in. It just looks like this really elaborate motif with lots of gold and sparkle, and it looks great. So that was a technique I discovered by accident, one of those happy accidents, because, you know, I coloured it in with a paint pen and went, oh no! So then I had to fix it. But actually, now I much prefer the way that that turned out. So I then cut that out, and that's the original there. I've then cut that out. So I am going to place two of them just about here. So I will grab my glue. I've tried to fix it in between the last shot. Seems I had to dodge off camera to find my paint pens. Ah dear, I thought I was organised, but hey ho, I'm just desperate to try and get the two videos that I've been planning for a while in my head done. I'm aware that I've got to pick my daughter up from school fairly soon, so that's in my head as well, and I think it's, you know, that less haste, more speed scenario. Oops, I'm onto that side. I think that's what we've got going on here. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick that at the back there because I just kind of want that peeking out. Okay, and then I will glue my little envelope onto there in a little bit. Okay, so I've got this little giggle motif. This again is a Leonie Pujol die. I did struggle getting this one to cut, in all honesty, but I was using my handheld Sizzix thing. I'd imagine that if I put it through my electronic die cutter it would have worked much better. I have the Embosser. On my wish list is a Gemini Junior, but I really do not need one, or I keep telling myself I don't need one, because I have so many die cutting machines, it's ridiculous. I have a little Sizzix Big Shot. I have a tiny little die cutting machine that's for my daughter. I think that was a tattered lace based one because it's frozen. It's got the frozen motifs on it for my daughter. She's 6 and she likes crafting with me, but I actually think that was a purchase. I think she was about 4 when she got that. But she's been crafting with me since, you know, she could talk. Probably sooner. Okay, while I'm here I'm going to do the one for the card. So this, again, I'm just doing, popping a bit of the gilding wax over it. Yeah, so I've got that, an embosser. I've actually got a Brother Scan and Cut as well, which I really, really need to take some time out and start using, because it sits there and I barely use it, which is shocking, especially after the amount of money it costs. But I'm terrible when I've got pretty creative things to do. That always just seems more appealing than sitting down and learning about something. So I've just taken all these little bits of die cuts and have added a bit of embossing powder. Now also, because I'm not in love with these envelopes, I'm desperately trying to do something to, I don't know, make them a bit nicer. I have to say it's a purchase I won't be making again, but hey ho. I will live and learn. I'll maybe try and make my own. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of these two things and the twine going between it. I was just very disappointed with the quality when I opened them. But it's also a lesson in using what you have. They're not my favourite item in my stash, but I've still managed to create something that I enjoy with them. So sometimes when it's something that you're not overly comfortable with, or you don't like, or you're finding a different way of using it, that's kind of when you can really let your creativity take over. I'm just going to try and give this a quick little buff, and then we'll get on to the next bit. Okay, probably buff this a bit better, but you get the idea. I'll do it properly off camera, but that'll do for the minute. Okay, so I'll just pop them to the side. What I want to do is attach my ribbon. So as I said, I took the twine off. You saw me take the twine off. And I want to now add this ribbon back on. So I'm just going to get a bit of my Cosmic Shimmer glue, pop it in the back there, and stick that in. Okay. I'm just going to leave that a little minute to dry. Okay, and while that's drying I will get, sorry, my head's in view again. All these things that I say I'm going to do better. See, and then the crafting takes over and I forget to check. Okay, and I've taken my little giggle sentiment. I love these sentiments, they're just, again, a bit different. I think in one of my videos, the one reviews Nikki stamps, the having a giraffe. I just love that because it's just different. So that glue will dry clear, so I'm not going to stress about the fact it's looking very white and gloopy at the minute. So I've just popped that there, and then I had a few extra bits and bobs just to try and again try and make myself fall in love with this tag, this envelope even. So I'm going to pop that there. Okay, and I am going to put this one on top. On my original I see that I put one layer as pink. I clearly forgot that at this moment in time. And then I've got a little gem that I will just take off and stick there, and that just kind of glams that up a little bit. As you can see, I'm going to just give this a bit of time to stick properly. Be patient. Right, so while I'm allowing that to, let me see, make sure that I give that a bit of enough ribbon to do its thing once it's dried. Pop that over there while it's drying. In between time I'm going to grab the ribbon that I've got. Now this tag actually was just a piece of card. I don't have a huge collection of tags and I enjoy making them, so I really must get some more, but I had one left from my Junk and Disorderly kit from Indigo Blue, and so I literally just traced around it and used my crocodile to put the hole in. So I'm just going to tie a little bow with these. I think tags are great. I kind of thought, well, where would I use them? But actually, I mean, I don't sell my cards as such, but friends and family will take some off me and buy and have it for them. I keep considering possibly opening an Etsy shop one day, but you know, we'll see, we'll see. I've started a YouTube channel, that's something. Right, so I've done that, but yeah, so people do seem to like the tags, and I think tie it around a bottle of wine, all sorts of things that you can do with it. Now, because this is a little envelope, I've also created a little ditzy card, and I'm just going to put the happy that I did just there. And I think this is really fun. The envelope, the card within the tag is really cute, and I think, as I said, pop that round the neck of a bottle of wine or a box of chocolates, and you've got, you know, a really thoughtful gift that's just a little bit different. So I'm just going to pop that. I think I want it on an angle. Pop that there. So I'm just going to chop the bottom part of that off. I quite like things sticking off cards. Oh, sorry. That'll be me in trouble with my father-in-law again. Just checking the quality of my videos. Both my husband and my father-in-law are really into photography and video editing, and so I'm getting plenty of good advice, which is wonderful, really kind of them. But that was the one bit. It was like, I need to keep things in shot. You can just about see my tape. I actually should probably pull my mat down a little bit. It's meant to not meant to go below it. So there's my little card, and I would also just go around that with my gold pen just to edge it, to give a finish to it. Okay. And then I'm just going to, so this is still just a little bit wet, but we'll see how we go. I'm just going to cut enough off to do that, because you get the idea. Okay. And I am going to grab a little bit of glue and just glue that down onto there like that. Okay. So what I will do is I will bring, you get the idea, that's me pretty much finished, but because that glue's wet and I can't pull the ribbon right round, it's not going to work. But here's the finished tag once I've done everything, and then this just unwinds like so, and inside I have my little card there. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Please do, if you enjoy it, consider hitting the like button and pressing subscribe. I'd love to have you to come and join me in another crafty session. But in the meantime, have a really good day. Do enjoy your own personal craft, and I look forward to seeing you again next time I am here. So bye bye, and thank you once again.